There are things that follow you through the dark. Not spirits. Not beasts. Just memories. And sometimes, they walk beside you in silence. Zalena didn't hear Kayo breathe. She didn't hear her own heartbeat. Only the sound of the girl's voice replaying in her mind like a curse. He's moving. The morning held its breath. The baobab tree stood unmoved. But something beneath the sky had shifted. They walked without words. Zalena in front, Kayo behind. The forest did not greet them. The wind clung low to the earth. Even the insects kept their wings shut. Her satchel swung with each step, light but loaded with salves, roots, then one flask of oil she had once sworn never to touch again. Kayo's gait was steady, weight balanced, blade strapped to his back like a sleeping animal. He had the walk of a man who had survived too many wrong places. The path narrowed. The trees grew sparse, not because the forest ended, but because nothing dared grow where they were headed. They passed a termite mound shaped like a collapsed face. Kayo glanced back. The girl was gone. No sound. No tracks. Only a half-eaten cob of maize left on a stump like a signature. Zalena said nothing. Some questions rot faster than fruit. In Ebanja, there are children born without fathers. Some without names. And a few without shadows. They walked until the silence stretched thin. Zalena stopped fast. Her voice was low, like it had crawled up from under the soil. Ebanja. The name hovered. Refused to echo. Refused to live. It just stayed. Kayo didn't flinch. He only looked at her. Not with confusion. Not with ear. With memory. That name was a grave between them. One neither had buried deep enough. It was the reason her herbs had stopped blooming past her fence. The reason his lungs still burned when he woke, fists clenched, blade unsheathed. The reason why, even now, neither of them dared ask what exactly had happened, only what was coming next. By dusk, they had made camp in a hollow between twisted trees. A reluctant fire flickered. It didn't crackle like normal flames. It breathed. Softly. Afraid. Zalena crushed dried leaves between her palms and whispered over them. Not a spell. Not really. Just a habit she had never unlearned. Kayo sat nearby, sharpening his blade with the edge of a flattened coin. The coin had no face left, worn blank by years of violence. She watched his hands. Precise. Efficient. The way a man cuts not to kill, but to finish. Her mind drifted to the image of him in the village square years ago, barefoot, blood-soaked, holding a girl whose neck bent wrong, like it had forgotten how to be whole. He'd looked calm back then. Empty. Like death wasn't new to him. Just expected. She blinked it away. Later, under a starless sky, Zalena lay facing upward. The canopy above felt like teeth. Kayo didn't sleep. He sat still, his blade beside him, fingers tracing the handle. If we find him, she asked softly, do you know what you do? He didn't reply. But his grip on the blade changed. Some answers don't need words. They show up in posture. In tension. In scars that twitch when certain names are spoken. She closed her eyes, but didn't rest. Sleep would not come for her, not tonight. By morning, the air felt thinner. No birds sang. They reached a place where the path dissolved into bone-dry soil. At its center stood a dead tree with limbs that all pointed east. Zalena pressed her hand to the bark. It was cold. Not in temperature, in memory. Kayo scanned the horizon. The silence was a little too complete. A little too clean. They didn't need a sign to know they were close. The ground here didn't hold footprints. It devoured them. Somewhere ahead, metal whispered against metal. Not loud. Just enough to prove the wind still had a voice. Zalena turned. Kayo nodded. And together, they walked on.